All right, please, let's start. Let's start. We cannot continue to wait for them. That will keep encouraging lateness. So we started this topic last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Aggregate analysis with aggregate functions. I know we stopped somewhere. Let me check my notebook. We have implemented some. We have also implemented, was it only some we have covered? I thought we have done for count as well. Only some. We have done for some, average. We have not done for count, right? So we'll start with count. Now, if you look at this set of aggregate functions, they are not aggregate functions that you use based on certain criteria. We are adding, we are counting, we are looking for average of all the values. So let's look at count. Let me see where I have my count. Okay, so let's start with count function as one of the aggregate function in Python. Count function in data analysis is used to know how many times an entry appears in a data set. Count function in data analysis is used to know how many times an entry appears in a data set. So there are a lot of analysis questions that can be answered with this function as well, in as much condition is not required for the counting. Now, let's look at this. I don't know if we are working with the same data sets. If it doesn't tally with data sets you are working on, then you just have to generate your question and answer it. Then this is the Yargon data. Now, looking at the Yargon data, we are asked to count how many entries are in that data set. How many entries are in that data set? So supposing you are given a data set and you want to know how many entries are there, you can actually use the count function. It's the same syntax with the sum. Now, what we are seeing here, the DA is the name of your data set, while the total is the criteria for the counting. Then the dot count is the function. So let's go to our data set and let me call back my data set. Let's say I'm working with, what's the name of this data set? A salary subset. We got this data set from the main data set. So let's say I'm still working with this sub copy. So let me bring it closer to where I am. So what we are doing right now is application of counts function in Python. So let me call my data here. So this is the data. I think we got this from the main data. So let's say we are working with this. Yeah, the sub data. I don't know the one you are working with. You can actually work with your own if you don't have this data set. How did I mark it out? Wait, I don't understand. Wait. Let me go back to, is it here? How I brought this hash. How I brought the hash. If I use this mouse to you, see the way I'm looking at you. Shift and 3. If you go ask film again, you will know yourself. Never learn the analysis finish. Go to art film. Don't forget hash. All right. So now we want to count. Let's look at the simple question here. We can actually deviate from the question I'm answering in my slide. So I just use that to show us the format. So let's derive our question here. Supposing we are given this data set and we are asked to count how many employees are in the data set, how many of them. There is no condition that is attached, whether you are to count only employee from Abia State. We will still get to the set of them that require condition. But for now, this is what you are dealing with, what? All. So if I want to use that as my question, so I think I need to be typing the question. I don't want to use this this sub data. So I do not frame it. Let me look for the name of the main data. I think it's data coming. I want to use the main data. I'm not comfortable with that sub data. No. The one I'm working at, that is salary payroll. I'm looking for where I called it. Oh, let me see. I know I called it somewhere. I could take my time. I think is this salary. Okay. So it's just salary. So let me use that. Salary. Please open this. Not the glass, so just the so I can have some light here. Okay, so I'm working with this. So our question is, how many employees do we have in the data set? In the data set. That is my question. How many employees? So remember the syntax, you start by calling the name of the data set, which is salary. But remember an idea I suggested the other time, that when you are analyzing, always learn to save your output in a valid word variable, right? So you can reuse it as a different data frame. So I will say total underscore number of employee. Let me just use this to represent, is equals to total number of employee is equals to the data set itself, which is salary. Then you select, because we are picking. So select. So what is going to be the criteria for the counting? The header that is going to be my criteria for the counting. The same number of record I will count under sales, I will also have under what? Department. So I can choose any one of them. So to avoid mistake, I can just copy it. So in other words, I am counting based on sales, but it's a string. So I have to what? Quote it. It's a string, I have to quote it. Then once I'm done like this, I'll come outside the selection and concatenate what? The function, which is what? Counts. Then we are not passing any argument inside the count function. Now, if I run it, I have the answer generated, but how come we are not seeing it? Can anybody tell us why we are not seeing the result? Because the result is stored in what? In this, right? So for me to see, I have to copy it, then go down and what? Paste, then run it. So this is the result. They are what? 150 employees. Well, let's apply now before I proceed this. Let's go back to our slide and take another one. So now, if you check what we are doing, says there was no condition attached to our analysis. When we are applying sum, we are summing everything in the column, right? When we are applying counting, the same thing. But now, we want to look at single criteria before we now go to multiple criteria, just like what you learned in Excel. I believe in Excel, you were all taught sum ifs, right? The one with S. So that same way we are going here now. Yeah, the one with S. So that's the same way we are going. Now, single criteria aggregate conditional analysis. You can just abbreviate it to that, or you write the whole thing here. Single criteria aggregate conditional functions application in data analysis. Yes. The different, we have left those ones we are using, they are under general aggregate function, the one that does not require any form of condition. So this is where it's going to be more interesting now, because most of the analysis falls within this range. Every average businessman wants to know the profit he or she is generating, maybe per a categorical data, let's say per states. Is not interested in knowing the profit generated from all the states. Though it's interested, but sometimes the focus is always on, let's see how the individual states are performing. Good. Can I move to the next slide? So we are also starting with the sum if. Now, I'm using the sum if here, not that Python has a function called sum if. I'm just using that as the name of the variable so that we know what exactly we are doing. So the question we are answering here, I'm going to rephrase my question based on the data I'm working with. But if you are working with this data, then you can go ahead with this. You are working with that Yargon data. I believe that is where we have that payment method called what? E-wallets. So here we are answering a question, which is, what is the total revenue from only what? E-wallet payments. That is what? Customer that made payments with what? E-wallet. The profit generated from this set of transactions. So let me explain the syntax, because I'm going to reconstruct it to fit the data I'm working, which is that salary payroll. So I'm going to replace my e-wallet with what? Maybe a department. So there I will be analyzing the total basic salary per what? Departments or per state. So I will replace this e-wallet with such. Now, but let me explain here. The function we are using here is query. Welcome. We are using query. Now, the sum if is my data frame name that is going to hold the results we are going to get. Then the DA is the current data frame where you are applying this analysis on. Then the query is the function. Now, being a function, this is the bracket.
of that query, and this is where it ends. So what is the query receiving? What are the arguments the query is receiving? This payment is the header where this value as your criteria is in your data set. So like in that data case now, here is going to be what? Department as header. Then here will now be one of the what? The department what? Value. Let's say what? Operation or credits. Now, at the end of it all, you can see the quotation system here. I use a single quotation to envelope both the header and the what? The criteria value. Then the criteria itself, I use what? Double what? Quotes. You cannot use two of them at the same time. As in, I cannot use double quotes here to define the entire what? Argument, and also use the double quote to define just the what? The criteria. So if you are starting with the double quote here, then your criteria should be what? Single what? Quotes. Now, at the end of that, this is where the query stops. But that function needs to perform calculation on another header, which is what? Total. So this is going to be replaced with my basic what? Salary, where I have value that can be summed up because the function can only add what? Number. So the header with the numbers is what we are calling here. Then, of course, you attach the sum. Exactly, but I want to switch from here. The total here is the header with the number that the sum is going to sum up. Because the sum can only add what? Number. It cannot add text. So this query will have assembled them together. In other words, this query function will have assembled all the what? The record where all the record equals to what? E-wallet. Then this sum will now come and what? Add them up, add the value of those selected record under what? Total. Did you understand the logic now? So this is what is selecting them. Double equal to good. Now, in programming, 1 equals to mean assignment. Double equals to mean equality. So what you are doing here is not a variable. You are not referring to this as a variable. If this is a variable, then it will have what? 1 equals to. In other words, what? This payment is storing what? E-wallet. But what we are saying right now is that what? Where a value under this header is equals to what? E-wallet. Then locate the value under total, and then this function sum them up. That is what we are saying. So if we are not writing, so that I can switch to my Right. Can anybody explain what is the role of this total? Let me know whether someone has understand what that total. You understand it now. Now look up this sum, this function. You know that this query, what this query will do is to go to this particular header and assemble all the words, the record that are equal to what? E-wallet, right? Then those records will also have value under total, right? This total is the header that carries the value that the sum is going to add up. So that this sum will not add both credits, both cash. That is why you first of all use the query to select them first. The total is an existing header in the data set that carries the value you want to add up together. Okay. It is not a function. Is the header that, like in my own case now, I am going to replace here with basic salary. Because that is where I have the numbers that I want the sum to add up for me. Then here will be what? Departments. And then here will be what? Operation. Which means that what? This query go and assemble all the what? Operation record for me. Those operation has record under what? Basic salary. So add only their what? Numbers. That is what it means. Okay, go to the point now. You are not calculating the number of times e-wallet activate, but the sum of the number of e-wallets we have, the total sum. Yeah, it's addition. It's summary. You are summarizing. Okay, now can we move now? Please make sure you copy it out the way it is so that it will not confuse you. Can I switch to my data now? As you come down, okay. It's giving me the amount of credit, but it doesn't give me the number. Like the amount. It's not counting now. Look at what you are using now, sum. We will still come to count. For count, we will just replace this place with what? Count. Mean, just like what we are doing since. It's supposed to be like this. It's just no, don't worry. That's not it. I'm waiting for you. Don't worry. We'll do it together. I'm waiting for them to copy. Okay, you're already implementing. Let me go and implement. Now, these people, can you imagine? You should just write on your note. Let me switch from here to my framework. Okay, don't worry. I know what to do. When you shout now, I know that you are waiting for me. Or I'm waiting for you. Let me just switch. So let's construct our question here together, please. So what we are doing now is what? Application of what? Application of some function, right? Some function for single criteria analysis. Let me just abbreviate it this way. For single criteria analysis. So what is the question we are answering now? The question we are answering is, what is the total summary? What is the total summary of basic salary? You can see write this one as your second question. Basic salary per what? Sorry, for which department are we picking now? Let's pick operation, right? For operation departments. That is the question we are answering here. So remember, my outputs will be displayed in, I'm using some if. Or I can just say what? Total, let's use more descriptive data frame or name. Total operation. Total operation basic salary. Total operation basic salary is equals to total operation basic salary is equals to the name of, are you saying something? No, I'm not using sum if again now. I'm using more descriptive word that describe what we are doing. That sum if is not a function, it's a variable name. It can be any name. This one describes what I want to do better than sum if in real application. Because once I present this, now, okay, what the value I'm going to get is what? Total operation what? Basic what? Salary. Than me putting sum if there. Sum if there is just to help me as I'm learning to know that what I'm doing is equivalent to what? Sum if. So the name of my data set is what? Salary. The name of my data set is salary, and I'm concatenating it with what? The query function. Then open the bracket. Now I'm selecting the header, which is what? Department. I don't know, I think it's typed capital letter, right? I'm selecting department. In other words, where department is equals to, right? Then I am using double quotes to highlight what? The criteria is equals to operation. I don't know if the operation, sometimes like this, what you do, just go to the data and do what? Copy it to avoid mistake. where is equals to. Select now. Where is equals to operation. Now, we'll now come outside the query formula and select. So now I want to select the header with the values that will be sum of now, which is what? Basic salary, and it's a string. So I will also what? Put it. So let me go there and highlight basic salary. Basic salary. I pray it should be a single word. If it's not a single word, then I need to have re-edited my header. Basic salary. Who can see the heading? Is it a... I need to zoom out. Oh, I pray it should not give me error because there is space there, but let's see. Equals to basic salary. If it doesn't work, look for the one that have just one word like task. Basic salary. Then you now concatenate what? The sum function, which is what? Sum. So let me run it. Okay, accepted. I'm lucky that even with the space here, it's able to sort it out. So to see my result now, I will call what? The whole of this, Control C. Then let me come under here. I'll Control V, then run. So I have the answer here. So you are doing for two for me, you do for operation, you do for at least 3 different departments so that it will enter. You don't have the data, then you can construct equivalence question and that can be answered with the data you have. Which one are you using? Let me, what are the headers you have there? Let me. Good. That means you can even use you can answer this question now. So if it's e-wallet question, the way the question will be is that what is the total revenue from what? Only what? E-wallet. That's the question. Answer it that way. But I thought I have circulated this data before now. This base salary. I know I've passed this data. We don't get that class. What's your problem? Do it. So you can see, let's go for average first. Average if. Let's follow the order. Average if. So you can see that the syntax is the same. The only thing is the function. So the question we are answering here is, what is the total average payment by what? Cash or with cash. So let's write first before we go for the application. All right, so if we go back to our data, are we still writing? Alpha. Okay, so here I want to use the health data here. We will all have this data as well. We have this health data, right? I'm very sure that we all have it. We all have these health data sets. It's part of the data set we loaded before. So let's see a question we can answer here with that average if. We have billing amounts here. We have billing amounts. So let's say we want to know the total average of billing amount per hospital. Total average of billing amount per hospital. So that is the question. So let me write the question. Go to Cargo and go and download it. Search for health. Yes, yes. It's there. So application of average if function in Python. So my question is, using the healthcare data sets, analyze the total average of billing amounts for which hospital we're going to pick now, sef. We have different hospitals here. Okay, let's say for Kim International. Let me tweak this. Proceed. For so my syntax is my data frame name, which should suggest what I'm doing. I will say total what? Total underscore billing underscore amounts. For make international. I don't know whether I'm correct here. Let me put underscore. So equals to the name of the data set is head, then dots query, then the header where the criteria for the average is. Let me get the header. The header should be hospital. The header should be hospital. equals to the specific hospital we are working with is, okay, that means I did not even thought it's a scheme. So equals to this. Then select the header with the values. It's a string, which is billing what? Billing amounts. That's where we have the value that we are calculating the average. So Control C. I'm going to, the next one now, I'll take your note from you. You're going to do it offhand. Let me know whether you are understanding this syntax. Which guys have? Now, coming. Dot mean. Dot what? Mean. Okay. Oh, yeah, ask your question. Kim is the type of hospital. Is one of the type of hospital. Go to the data set, you see it here. Under hospital, I have it here. So I'm calculating the average of what? Billing amount for only this hospital. Is it clear now? Then here is what? Where you have the value. Now, let me execute. Good to go. So let me get ready to submit all your notes. I know that guy would get comedian, strong comedian for this class. Control C. Let me get my answer first before I answer you. Okay, good. Oh yeah, now I can answer a question. This one, don't mind me. I wanted to type this. So let me go and change itself so that it will correspond. Here's supposed to be the name I have there, which is Kim. Kim. So I think I was not that made mistake. Let me also change this one. All right, so let's go back to now let's look at the count if now. Count if. Hope we are together, please. Count if, count if, count if. So the same syntax, but here what we are doing is analyzing the total number of transactions made by cash. Made by cash. So you can see that in the case of count, you just have to use any header as your criteria. It must not be a header with numbers. Because count, just counting. It's not summing up. That's the reason why you see branch. What you have under branch, they are not numbers. They are strings. So we just choose it as a criteria to what? To count. So you can choose any header. But this one must align with the criteria, which means that what? We are counting only record where payment is equal to what? Cash. So we want to know them. So for those that are using this data, after cash, you do for, I think we have just 3 methods of payment. Then we have e-wallet, we have cash, we have a credit card. You do for 3 of them so that you can compare and contrast at the end of the day, which of them is doing better. If you are using the salary payroll, I think here now I'm going to fall back to salary payroll. If I'm using salary payroll, we will do for at least 3 states. So here will be what states, here will be what maybe data. Then here you can choose department just as a criteria for the counting. Then you attach your counting function. Okay, so I want to switch now. So I'm using the salary. Let me bring it closer. Okay, so here, application of counts function in Python. So my analysis question is, how many employees in the data set are from data from data? We are expected to do for 3, Lagos and Imo. So we are performing this counting analysis for 3 states. Maybe the organization has some decision they want to make, and they want to know the number of employees in each of these 3 states. So my syntax to answer the question will be, this time around, try and see without looking at your notes and the previous code you wrote, whether you can actually do it often. Just try yourself. You can do it so that you know whether you understand the syntax. So let me start with the name that describe what I'm doing. I'm counting for Lagos. Sorry, data. So I will just use data, or let's say what? Number of employee for data is equals to the name of my data set, which is what? Salary. Don't say that. You are giving us the... Okay, thank you. No, it's good. It's good. Okay, well, let's check for the states. Yes, we are doing for data, we are doing for Lagos and Imo. The company want to employ more staff. They want to know which states, maybe out of the 3 states, they want to know which of the states they are to recruit more staff for. So they want to start by knowing how many staffs are in these 3 states first. So if at the end of the day, if Imo is the one that is having the less, that means what? Most of the staff will be employed to that state. Okay, they say I should not say anything. Let me just continue. Don't look at my screen too. Okay, let me even wait, sir. Let me wait. Yeah, let me wait. Okay. We are counting based on which data? Okay, based on states. Based on states. States equals to data let me just use departments as my criteria for the selection. Then counts. Right, now to display my results, copy. So there are 12. Now, remember I said we are doing for 3 different what? States. Okay, for those of you that have gotten the results, Lagos is okay, data is 12, I mean. Lagos is what? 8. Then Imo is what? Okay, you are still on Imo. Oh yeah, once you complete, let me. Imo is what? 11. Okay. So which of that means data is leading?
No wonder our governor collect the best governor.
You can get to, okay, here, let's put this is advanced aspect now. Let's see if we can take some advanced, there's still time.
We started late.
Now, if you check the way I arrange the functions, the first set of functions, no condition. The second one condition. Now we are going to what? 2, 3 conditions. So let's say you are asked to count employees from Delta State where gender is equals to male. You can see that what? That is 2 what? Criteria. So that is the aspect we are going to now. Advanced conditional functions. So I'm going to give all the general explanation to them before we start taking the one after the other. Right, this set of functions or syntax, this set of functions or syntax, this set of functions or syntax are used for multiple criteria analysis. Are used for multiple criteria analysis. Are used for multiple criteria analysis. Multiple what? Criteria analysis. So let's look at the first application. So we started with what? Sum again. But you can see that the syntax have changed. And it's just one place that changed actually. This place remained the same, right? Now this is the place, just and that and symbol that you are adding. That's the difference. So if you like, and 1 million criteria, provided it will not accrue 0, you don't have problem. So no limits. So if you understand that previous syntax, this one is very simple. Just know that once you are done with definition of the first criteria, then you add what? And. Good. For anyone you are adding and, you call the header where the criteria is, and then the criteria itself. Then at the end of the day, you attach your sum, your count, your mean. Where is the second criteria that you do not quote? No, now the single one that is covering all of them now. Look at where it started now. It started here, and it's one wrapping all other ones. Can you see it? This single quote here now is the one that is close here now. Yes, that one is capturing the criteria. Okay, so now somebody should help us with analysis question we can answer with the syntax you just copy now. If we are using, let me call the salary now. Let me use the salary data. Somebody should help us with 2 criteria question from this data. Can you use what? Should use what? You should use, sorry. Okay, that healthcare. This one is easier. Okay, somebody should give us question here. Total number of, okay, let me be writing it. Total number, right? Say what? Analyze, right? And call me, please. Analyze the total, right? Total number, right? Of employees per what? Departments. Okay, let me put it here. No, we can. We want to see the two criteria there. Number of employee per department and what? Okay, let me just say and what? Okay, from Lagos, good. From Lagos. Where says is equals to what? Why are you giving back? And what? Which department are we focusing on? And what? From operation, right? Or equals to what? Operation. Let's just write an operation.
It's multiple functions.
Yes. Well, I don't know. We know how many of them. Operation departments. So how many do we have now? Look at this here now. Employee per.
From Lagos.
That means what? Summarize what? Which of the header? Summarize basic salary or what?
Basic salary.
We didn't capture that. So this place will have changed to what? Summarize basic salary. No, but your question now, remember we are implementing some first. So give us question that will go with some.
Yes.
Give us question that will go with some.
So I think that should cover it.
Analyze total basic salary. Maybe this place will change to what? Total basic salary. Because we need to mention it, basic salary so that it will go well. Basic salary of what? Employees per what?
So that's Lagos.
This Lagos 1. I mean,
yes.
Where says is equal to what? Female. That is 2.
Yes.
And what? Departments. How do we mention departments here? Per department have covered what? So this place we say per department because we are not doing categorical analysis. We are not aggregating them. So we just mention one. Let's say what? For employees for marketing. Let's choose something different now.
Okay.
Marketing.
Then remove the operation.
They will remove the operation we have there before. Yeah. Abi? Good. I mean that. Okay, so let's answer it together now. If you don't have this, just try and construct.
Is there where it ends?
In this case now, that means we have just how many criteria analysis do we have here now? Marketing department 1, right?
Yes.
Equals to what? Sorry, from Lagos State. That is 2.
Yes.
The sales equals, that is 3.
Yes.
Good. So let's go with this. If you don't have this data, try and construct equivalent to something like this. So let me answer the question right here. So the result now, let's say what? Let's say basic salary. This name is going to long. Basic salary. Let me just basic salary for department. Sorry, for marketing. I mean, let me just take the first criteria to describe it. For marketing.
Don't
worry, let me just use this where you can look for a better description for marketing. Now, the data set we are working with is salary dot query. Open the bracket, then the single quote. Then the first criteria is what? where we are getting the first criteria from, which is marketing department. I mean, department. I don't know whether it's in capital letter. Somebody should help me to check. Good. Then equals to marketing. Marketing is capital letter or small letter, please. Capital letter or true. Please check for me. Okay, it's here. Okay, good. But let me know where it is. Then I am still inside the single quote. I will do what? And then the next heading from the next, that's Lagos states. You know, we are going to call state Lagos from. That is states. So I will call states. States equals to Lagos is also capital letter, small letter. Please, somebody should help me to check. I don't want to. Capital letter. Lagos. Then and, right? And says.
Yeah.
No, that is says now. That is says. Control C. Says is what? Equals to female is spelled F. F is capital letter F. Then we'll come outside, then select the criteria, which is a string. What are we doing now? Sum it, right? So where we have the number that we are adding, which is basic salary. Basic salary, I have it here to avoid. Then concatenate the function, which is dot sum. So let me run and see. Okay, we are good to go. So let me display my answer by zero. The criteria is not met. If you give you zero, the criteria is not met. So what is the criteria at that time? We are summing value. Now, what I'm going to do is that let me change it to another department to see. To know whether is our function that is correct or not. Want to know? Departments. Let me check. We have credit, have we? Credits. We have credits. It has worked now as I put credits. So you can see that it's possible that that criteria is not met. We don't have anybody. Yeah. One of the criteria have disqualified the other one. Yeah. Because the three of them must be met before you can actually get a value. So, yes. Or maybe what we'll have done also, if you want to troubleshoot, try